Well, before the season started, Peoria Notre Dame knew that they would have a heck of a season and a potential deep playoff run. Well, fast forward to late February, they're still alive, having an own deep playoff run. They've made it to the Class 2A Super-Sectionals, just one game away from state. So are the Alleman Pioneers, number 5 in Class 2A. They go up against the number 1 P&D Irish. This is as good as it gets so far, Caden. Just one game away from state. This should be a good one. Jonathan Michael and Caden Sexton here with you in the booth tonight from Bureau Valley High School, an hour north or so of Peoria. It's been a great trip.
It has been, John, and we're looking forward to a great game of basketball tonight. Obviously, those on the Clutch Sports Media group typically know Peoria Notre Dame. We've covered them a decent amount this season. However, Alleman is no joke of a team. They only have 4 losses this year, all to in-conference games. And, Alleman, kind of like Peoria Notre Dame, they play a lot of bigger schools. Just because they have 4 conference losses, those 4 conference losses were all to schools 3A or 4A. No losses to anybody below 2A or below this season.
Certainly, and it's been the same with P&D as well. They haven't lost to anybody outside of Class 3A or 4A. No bad losses by either team here tonight, having one of their best seasons in school history. P&D is looking to make it to state for the first time as a girls basketball team. Alleman is looking to get back for their first time since 2005. The last time they won a sectional title, they won the state championship back in 2005. Last time P&D won a sectional championship, 1999, Caden. This is once-in-a-generation seasons that we're seeing for both of these teams, although it wouldn't be a surprise to see both of them continue it further down the road as well. Lots of young talent on both the Irish and Pioneers.
No, you look at Peoria Notre Dame, you have players like Emmy Wardle, who's a freshman, Lexi Bear, who's a sophomore, players who are going to be sticking around for a while, including Caitlin Cassidy, who has a junior season, as well as Julia Mingus, one more year with the Irish. You go over to Alleman's roster, one of their best is leaving them after this season, Audrey Erickson, who is a senior. However, their conference first team All-Player of the Year was Adeline Voss, who is a sophomore. So a lot of time for both of these teams to continue to grow, continue to build franchises that could be at the state level in this top competition for many seasons to come, John.
Certainly, as we'll take a look at both teams here and a little bit of how they got here. Alleman 30-4, 10-4 in the Western Big Six. Those losses came to, 2 of them came to Quincy, a state-ranked team in Class 4A. 2 of them came to East Moline United as well, a team also just outside of the top 10. They ended the regular season number 5 in the Class 2A rankings. It's been one of their best seasons in a while. They started out in regionals, a 54-24 win over Rock Falls, a 58-27 win over Princeton, and the sectional semifinals over in Oregon. They beat Marion Central Catholic 58-46, and then Stillman Valley 45-36 as well. So you look at those games, Caden, and it's a team that maybe doesn't absolutely light it up scoring the ball, but they play some good defense and they have some big wins.
For sure, and when you have 3 conference players, when you have all these tight wins, it shows you that they're a group that can play for 40 minutes, right? Or sorry,
32.
Not 32. I called a college basketball game last night.
We'll give you a break.
Got my math tripped up a little bit there. But you get what I mean, John, where this team, as the Irish are just taking the floor now for some more warm-ups. On their side, they don't play a lot of close games, John. You want to elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, looking at P&D and their road here, it's been more of the same as many of the Irish fans have been accustomed to this season. In their postseason, they beat Kewaunee 89-26, then over Sherrard 66-33 for a regional title. That was back at IVC just over a week ago. Then last week at the Canton Sectional, they beat Bloomington Central Catholic 66-31. The Saints were no pushover. The Irish breezed past them, and then they took down DMAC 59-37 in the sectional title game. DMAC also a state-ranked team, a team similar to Alleman, and just how good their season has been, and the height on their team as well. Pioneers have some size. We'll touch on that later, but again, P&D has made it look easy this season. averaging 70 points a game in the playoffs and allowing only just a shade under 32.
Yeah, John, me and you called a game, the P&D Sherrard game together, and when you looked at that game, you saw Sherrard come out to a fast start and able to play Peoria Notre Dame hard and keep pace with them. But before the first quarter even ended, Peoria Notre Dame started to become the Irish again, and by the fourth quarter we had a running clock. It's the tale of how long can you keep up with this Irish before the pedal gets hit too fast that you can't keep up with the car.
Certainly, as we're getting set for our national anthem, both teams lining up. It's a pretty full gym here in Manlius. We'll step aside for our national anthem and come back for live audio coverage of the 2A Super-Sectional on ClutchSportsIL.com. And a great rendition of our national anthem being played by Bureau Valley's pep band. Again, props to them for coming out to the game. Great environment here in Manlius as we are ready for our starting lineups for both teams. We'll start with the visitors, and tonight that is the Alleman Catholic Pioneers. Their starting lineup goes like this. It'll be Adeline Voss, a sophomore and first-team All-Western Big Six player. She'll be joined by Audrey Erickson, a senior, a second-team All-Western Big Six selection. Keep an eye on her. She is a heart and soul piece of this Alleman team. Ava Brinkman, a 6'1 senior forward. There's some of that size we mentioned earlier as well. Then Megan Holke, a sophomore, and rounded out by assuming her sister Claire Holke, a 5'11 senior forward. Holke and Brinkman are going to give Alleman that size that we had mentioned earlier.
Right, and like we mentioned earlier, they have some youth, but they have some old. 3 seniors and 2 sophomores will start it out today for the Pioneers.
For P&D, their starting lineup, here it is. Julia Mingus, the 5'6 junior guard, also at guard, but also playing a little bit of forward sometimes. Caitlin Cassidy, the 5'11 junior. Then Maya Wardle coming off a game-high 26 against DMAC in the sectional title game last week. What a week that she had. The senior, I should say, committed to Eastern Kentucky. Her younger sister, Emmy Wardle, a 5'9 freshman, and Lexi Baer, a 6'1 sophomore forward for the Irish. Kind of figure, Kaden, if you had to pick an X factor for P&D tonight, certainly you're looking at Maya Wardle, but also probably looking at Lexi Baer because of Alleman's size and Baer's propensity to shoot down the 3-ball.
Yeah, you know, Lexi Baer, for those of you who haven't seen her this season, is somebody that can shoot prolifically from the 3-point arc, yet at the exact same time, she is the tallest one in the starting 5 for the Irish. So she is someone who is able to go out there and work the paint, something that the Irish are going to need tonight, especially on defense, with how much Alleman is going to outsize them. As tip-off goes to the Irish, and Maya Wardle is going to be the first one to take the ball.
As Wardle with it, she'll kick it down to Mingus in the post. Irish on the left side, closest to us. Alleman wearing green uniforms with black numbers and black trim. P&D in their home whites with blue numbers. And the green down the side. Here's Cassie in the high post. Back out to Maya Wardle. First possession of the game. Mingus hits 3-ball in the corner off the attachment. And we'll get a early travel on Alleman. It'll stay with P&D. That travel called on Adeline Voss.
Yeah, something PND loves to do is that press. It provides a lot of pressure, and teams that haven't seen it definitely get rattled with it early.
Here's Maya World driving in. Layup with the left hand is no good. Rebound brought in by Voss, and here comes Alleman the other direction. Up at the top of the paint, there is Audrey Erickson, who we touched on earlier. Here's Brinkman on the wing. Back to the top of the key. Voss thought about it, steps in. Shot from the paint is up and good, and the Pioneers have struck first.
Yeah, great drive there by Voss. First one to score with a minute into the game. Makes it 2-0 here, Pioneers.
6:47 left to go here in the first. PND playing from behind, but only again by just a bucket. Still early on. Mingus' three was off earlier. She has it now. Kicks it over cross court to Maya Wardle on the wing. Back to her sister, Emmy. She'll drive in, trying to create some space. Cassidy finds in the corner off the back iron. Looks just like Mingus' first attempt.
Yeah, the threes have not fallen yet, but there's only taken 2 attempts. I mean, we've only had 2 possessions here. We're only 6:20 into the first quarter after all. As Emmy Wardle's trying to get that steal, very aggressive. When we saw her last time against Sherrard, she forced 3 steals as she forces the turnover there, John.
An offensive foul on Alleman. Pioneers fans a little dismayed by the call, but I'll give it back to P&D. And maybe if anyone from Alleman is viewing, if you haven't seen the Irish this year, they are a team that loves to play fast. They bring intense defensive pressure all game long. They love to force steals and get in transition. Maya Wardle's three is an air ball. Bear tries to keep it in bounds and does, but tips it right to Megan Holke. And the Pioneers will drive back down. Here's a wide open Claire Holke, top of the key, and it's good. There's Holke to Holke, and Alleman's up 5-0, 5:48 to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, some great passing there. Left a wide open, her sister wide open in the arc. As that one was tipped away. Maya Wardle had it. It was tipped by Megan Holke.
Here's Maya Wardle on the drive with the right hand. That shot is off the mark. P&D is 0 for their first 4. And now here comes Erickson with some speed the other way. Turns it on Mingus. Kicks it over in the corner. Another 3 ball is short, and Mingus corrals the miss. Here's Mingus still with it. Back to Wardle, top of the key. Now in the high post. Kicks it over. Cassidy. Not many girls in front of her in front of the baseline. She drives in. Easy layup. Cassidy there driving in on Ava Brinkman. And there's P&D's first bucket.
Great court awareness there for Cassidy to notice that there was nobody really in her way to get to the paint. She thought about pulling up from 3. Instead did a nice move to get around the one defender and walk into the paint for a layup.
Alleman was bringing a little bit kind of a 3-2 look, so the baseline was a little bit less populated than usual. P&D brings a press, but Alleman breaks it, driving in. Here's Adeline Voss, and she's fouled by, I believe that was Maya Wardle. That'd be her first. Something again to keep an eye on, Kaden. We touched on it a bit in some previous broadcasts with P&D's aggressive style of play, trying to keep those fouls in check. Something to keep an eye on tonight as Maya Wardle picks that one up.
Right, Lane Lanehoff, head coach of the Irish, knows that he wants to be aggressive. He's aggressive in every game, but being too aggressive can sometimes cost you, and what that costs you after that, here's a steal by
There's Cassidy. She drives in a bit of trouble, kicks it out. Mingus's open 3 ball is off to the right. Offensive board from Cassidy, but it's knocked away. We're going to get a jump ball. That should favor Alleman, and it does.
4:34 here in the first quarter, as Alleman's going to get the inbound. As I was saying, John, before that breakaway, was Lane Lanehoff wants to be aggressive. He wants to force his presses. He wants to get those steals, but sometimes that comes at the cost of fouls. And if you get in foul trouble too early on, it prohibits you from playing how you want to and could make it too big of a struggle.
One thing that P&D does very well, though, is even if they are in foul trouble, they use their bench well, and I think a lot of their starters know when they can and can't be aggressive, and they are in foul trouble, they can keep themselves in the game. Alleman with it, but Maya Wardle takes away the pass, swiped in the high post, then she got pickpocketed from behind. That time it was Carson Wendt, the junior guard off the bench for the Pioneers. It will stay with P&D, though.
I mean, it was a great play there by Wendt. Just able to read that Maya Wardle was not looking her direction and just come from behind and easily tip it away. However, since she was the last one to touch it, it's P&D's ball still.
Emmy Wardle inbounds to Maya. She goes back to Emmy. Now Mingus in the corner. That's sort of her spot. Cassidy is trying to fight for a position in the post, but Mingus still has it in that corner. Back up to Emmy Wardle. Energy in this gym is palpable. Mingus driving into the paint. Finds some traffic. Kicks it out to an open Maya Wardle. And her shot is short. That's 2 air balls now from the senior guard.
You don't see that much from her. Getting open looks, but not making connection there.
Again, you maybe partially attribute that to, playing in a gym for the first time. I believe this probably would be Peony's first time ever playing at Bureau Valley. Drive in is good from Claire Holke on the other end. And that puts Alleman up by 5. 3:27 to go here in the first quarter. And also, again, maybe, who knows, maybe the ball maybe a little less inflated than usual. I can't assume that that's the case, but there are a couple different factors when you're going in and shooting and it's getting used to playing in a new gym in a big environment.
For sure. Foul there goes on number 24. That was Carson Wendt, and that'll force the PND. PND will keep it. It was reach in, so PND is going to inbound it now.
Into the game for the Irish is Allie Stickelmeyer. Turnaround shot from Emmy Wardle in the paint is brought in by Wendt, and Alleman a chance to build on their lead again. Pioneers come in number 5 in Class 2A, although they haven't really seen many teams like PND. They've seen a couple this year, but the Irish have been extremely dominant all season long. Many running clock victories, some by even as many as 60 points. But the Pioneers have the early advantage here at Bureau Valley. Here's Adeline Voss with it. Now back up top to Claire Holke. Again, her and her sister Megan on the court. Push from behind was Erickson. That'll be the second team foul on PND.
Yeah, a lot of sister pairs on Alleman. You have the 2 Holkes, Megan and Claire. And then over on PND, you obviously have Maya and Emmy Wardle, but you also have Ellie and Riley Bear. So 3 combinations of sisters between these 2 squads.
You certainly do. Then on PND, you also have Lexi Bear, but her spelling of Bear is B-A-E-R. She is not related to Ellie or Riley. Trouble in the corner for Alleman. They get it out, and a travel by Voss. She had a wide open lane to the hoop, but got a little bit too antsy and took 2 steps before. It'll be PND ball. 2:33 to go here in the first quarter.
And PND's trying to get a late substitution. They are going to allow Maya Wardle onto the floor. She's going to replace Lexi Bear.
Bridget Dooley also in the game for the Irish, so they're trying some different combinations and seeing if their 2 main bench players in Stickelmeyer, the junior, and Dooley, the senior, can give him a spark off the bench. It's been slow starting for the Irish. In case you're just tuning in, they missed their first 4 shots. Something you don't see too terribly often, but still plenty of time left. Maya Wardle here on the near side. Kicks it down low. Stickelmeyer in the paint. Double team. Nice find over to Dooley. She kicks it back out to Emmy Wardle. Now Mingus wide open 3 in the corner. Rattles out. Great ball movement by the Irish. Just didn't quite result in prosperity there.
Yeah, Allie Stickelmeyer there in the paint trying to poke that one away, but it was deeply in the hands of Erickson. Erickson, however, she was off for a minute. Then once Maya Wardle had the late check, immediately got put back in herself. Maybe that's something that Steve Ford of Alleman wants to accomplish, is keeping Erickson on the floor with Maya Wardle, both point guards.
Something definitely to keep an eye on. Good observation there as another takeaway by PND, but Mingus just barely stepped out right in front of her own bench. Maybe if she was a shoe size or small, or shoe size or 2 smaller, maybe it'd still be Irish ball, but couldn't quite walk the tightrope. Alleman ball, 1:46 to go. Winner moves on to state this weekend at Sefco Arena in Normal. Keep an eye on tonight's other super sectional between Regina Dominican and Chicago Phillips. Layup is good, meanwhile, by Claire Holke, and Alleman leads by 7 here in the first quarter against the top-ranked Irish.
Claire Holke has 7 of the 9 Alleman points. She's definitely been a player to watch so far. Second team in conference this season, as that'll be a foul on Cassidy for the Irish. It's a PND, or I'm sorry, it's a turnover by PND. It'll be Alleman's ball.
There'll be a timeout called by Lane Langhoff. 1:25 to go here in the first quarter, and he wants to talk some things over, Caden. Haven't seen this a lot for P&D getting down to an early deficit, although we did see it against Sherrard. Tigers were up, I believe, 12-4 in that game in the first quarter before P&D just ran away with it the rest of the way from there.
Right, P&D has seen themselves down many times this season. It's just how many times has the final score ended with them down? That's the other question, John. Or the real question, yeah.
That's the great point there. And again, winner of this game faces either Regina Dominican out of Wilmette or Chicago Phillips. They're playing at the Morton College Super-Sectional tonight, so we'll keep you posted on that throughout the game as well. And also for our Peoria area listeners, Illini Bluffs playing in the Class 1A Super-Sectional against top-ranked Galena. That game also you may have seen on ClutchSportsIL.com, so you can tune into that and see how the Tigers are faring against the Pirates. Two local teams still trying to punch their ticket to state. Right now it's Alleman on top. Voss, she's guarded by Maya Wardle, rather. Kicks over to Megan Holke on the drives. Taken away by Cassidy. P&D can't believe it's a foul. That'll be 2 free throws coming for the sophomore Megan Holke. Cassidy picks up the foul.
Yeah, we have 1:07 left on the clock here in the first quarter. As you can hear the P&D crowd, John. I mean, building is packed on both sides of the gym.
Not quite a sellout crowd, but still a very good crowd nonetheless. First free throw is good from Megan Holke. She's got 4. Her sister Claire is 4. Adeline Voss with 2. P&D is only bucket. I'm trying to remember. Katie, help me jog my memory here. That came from Caitlin Cassidy. And second free throw is up and good. So it's 11-2 Alleman, just a shade over a minute to go here in the first quarter. Pioneers making a statement. Let's see what P&D has got cooking. Maya Wardle, like another coach on the floor for P&D. Her father, Brian, obviously the head coach for Bradley men's basketball. Her 3-ball from straight away is off the back iron and off the front iron and into the hands of Erickson, who brings it up now for the Pioneers. She gives it up to Megan Holke. Guarded tightly by Maya Wardle. Pioneers swinging it around. Now here's Erickson back over to Brinkman. If you're P&D, Kaden, you really want to stop here to get some momentum heading into that second quarter. Not going to have the lead, I don't think, at this point, but need a big stop here.
No, it definitely looks like Alleman wants the last shot as Erickson then drives in the paint. As I spoke it turned into a false statement.
Usually hear about the broadcasters jinx during free throws, not so much during active play, but Erickson saw the open lane, just couldn't quite finish.
Yeah, before I made that claim, John, for those of you at home, they were continuously just passing it back and forth all across the arc as the clock went from almost just shy of a minute to 17 seconds. So they really did take away a lot of this remaining time. It'll be interesting to see if Lane Langhoff wants his girls to take the last shot of this first quarter or if he wants them to just score early and play some defense.
Here's Maya Wardle with it. 10 seconds left. Over to Bayer. Now is 7. Drive into the paint with 6. Blocked away, and no, a foul called on Alleman. Pioneer fans don't think so, but P&D gets a chance to add 2 more here with 4.7 left on the clock. Pretty good play there from the Irish to try and get some high percentage looks. Obviously, free throw line's a great spot to do so. That foul went on Claire Holke, her first. First free throw is good from Alexi Baer. He was pretty quiet in their win over DMAC. Had 6 points in the win, but again, knocked down some threes at very opportune times, and these are some opportune free throws. Second one is no good. Alleman has a chance. Emmy Wardle nearly takes it away. She's got to get a shot off, and they don't. She was looking for Mingus, but Mingus caught it with less than a second left and had no time to get a shot up. It's Alleman 11, P&D 3 after 1. Kaden, your thoughts from that first quarter? Are you surprised at all to see Alleman in the lead?
I'm a little bit surprised to see Alleman in the lead, but it's not like it's something that we didn't see coming. We knew Alleman was going to be a very strong opponent to the Irish. However, it's definitely shocking to see how many missed attempts that the Irish have had. The Irish have, of course, they are a dominant team, but it's more or less interesting to see how they are missing rather than Alleman's success.
We'll see what P&D can do in the later quarters. Again, still lots of basketball left to be played. We've seen how good P&D has been when they've been in deficits before. Again, of note, when they played Class 3A number 1 Lincoln, Irish were up at the halftime and led most of that first half before losing the lead in the second half. But so really, I mean, obviously the first half is certainly important. You can't win a game in the first half. You can certainly lose it. P&D certainly has not lost it by any means. They're still very much in it, but I think they just want to get some good looks to fall. And they had some good shooting looks in the first half. A couple 3 balls that just didn't fall. And Alleman, though, shooting at a very high percentage. Credit to the Pioneers for coming out hot.
Yeah, you can probably hear a lot of cheering now, folks. That was both Alleman and the PND sides cheering as we went out to the crowd. Alleman had all the fans for Alleman's side were standing the entire break there. But both these crowds have been electric tonight so far.
Alleman's brought a big student section decked out, all of them in green. I mean, hardly see anybody not wearing green. Nice turnaround by Cassidy. Good looking shot, but just not enough on that one. Here's Erickson in transition now. Peony also is brought some students as well. Bureau Valley Band in attendance. That helps get the atmosphere going a little bit. And a turnover by the Pioneers. 7:26 to go here in the second quarter. That will give it back to P&D.
Emmy Wardle's going to take this ball up now. Not Maya, which we typically see from the Irish, but Maya is now holding it. Maya's with a drive and a shot, but it is just a little short. She's trying to fight for the extra attempt, but it was taken off of the boards by Claire Holke. Holke's got it up to Erickson now, who's about at center court, guarded by Mingus. She's passed it over to her sister, who now they're just passing it back and forth along the 3 line. Erickson has it. She's driving into the paint. Turn around and shoots over 3. Irish, and she scores the bucket for 2.
There's 2 more for Erickson, her first score of the game. P&D quickly responds. I didn't even see that one. Julia Mingus sped in for a layup. Fast-paced action here at Bureau Valley. 6:33 to go. Here we have a tie-up, and the possession arrow, despite what our scoreboard says, favors Alleman. So now our possession arrow is accurate. Again, we're going to try and get our scoreboard camera back up on our stream. We'll try and get that to you here again shortly. 6:32 to go in the second quarter. Glad you're with us for live audio coverage on ClutchSportsIL.com. Driving in is Alleman, double team and turnover. Here comes Maya Wardle with some numbers. Now gives it to Mingus. She feeds back out to Bear for 3. Another good look, just a bit too strong. And it looks like Carson Went was pushed to the ground. Alleman wanted a foul. None was called. Alleman's led for all of this one. Here's Cassidy at the top of the key, defending Voss. Now over to Erickson. Driving right, got right past Mingus and converts the layup. Nice little rock the cradle there from Erickson. That faked out Mingus.
That was a beautiful play by Erickson, as here's a 3-ball from Cassidy Bain.
Big,
right into the bucket.
Big shot there for P&D. That'll make it a 15-8 ball game. Bassett's coming quicker than we can update our scoreboard. Erickson in some trouble, and we'll get a foul on P&D amidst the tie-up. Irish were looking to get the arrow, but did not.
Looks like the 2 refs are having a disagreement on who the foul was actually called on. And now a timeout here for Alleman. Alleman with the timeout here after that tie-up. Irish start to sneak back, and the Pioneers coach Steve Ford wants to slow that down as quickly as he can.
Look at Steve Ford. He's done a great job at Alleman in his 4th year. 64 and 45 overall. This is by far his best year since he took the helm of the Pioneers out of Rock Island. And it's good to see the Pioneers girls basketball team thriving, girls soccer team. We're talking with our good friend Ken Jacoby of QC Sports right over next to us before the game, and said that their girls soccer team also very good. And same with P&D as well. We'll see Maya Wardle on the soccer pitch as well in a couple weeks or so. But first, they have some business to take care of. This Irish team really wants to get to state.
Maya Wardle there nearly got a steal when she wasn't looking. She was guarding Adeline Voss, who got the inbound, and it hit off of Wardle's arm, but Voss was the one who saw the ball versus Wardle because it was at the back of her head. We've just had some passing since I started talking, folks. You haven't missed much.
Layup is no good by Alden, but they get an offensive board. They finally get it out, nearly a 5-second call. Shot fake there by Megan Holke. She drives in, and a foul on the floor. That's P&D's first of the second quarter. So talk about those fouls for the Irish. Nothing to be worried about really so far. That foul goes on Lexi Bear, her first. And nice broadcast. Audio only due to NFHS network restrictions. Glad you're with us, though, for live free coverage on ClutchSportsIsland.com. Tell your friends, tell your family. Get on over and listen into this one. This one should be a dandy. A trip to state on the line, and the intensity will only ratchet up from here. Erickson drives in. A Pioneer hits the deck. Here's Voss now driving baseline. Shot was altered by Cassidy. Good defense.
Rebound picked up by Maya Wardle.
Now back to Emmy. She drives baseline. Kicks it over. Maya's wide open three ball. That one's good. And it was only a matter of time before the senior found her shooting stroke, and I think she just did there after those two early air balls.
That was Maya Wardle's first basket, and now she's playing tenacious defense. As that one was picked off by Mingus. Mingus with a pickpocket there, and it'll be a jump ball.
And that will give it back to the Irish. So P&D starting to pick things up. They've closed the gap to 4 after a three ball from Maya Wardle. And the P&D fans across the way from us, they're getting excited. They know that every possession means so much. I mean, especially the Super Sectionals. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. They want to keep on spending that time together on the court this season. Mingus' three from the corner. Again, a good look, but just rattled out. Seen many of those from P&D, but Maya Wardle's three has been the only one to go so far.
Well, as you said, John, the seniors, a lot of seniors on both sides, none of them wanted this to be their last game.
For P&D, they have the senior Maya Wardle. They also have a couple other seniors, but Maya is really the only one that is in their rotation. They also have Sammy Lard, who's been out with some injuries, and Ellie Bear, and also Bridget Dooley as well, a key piece of the Irish. For Alleman, they have a couple of seniors like Claire Holke, Audrey Erickson, Abigail Glacken as well, but they also have some young talent on their team, like Megan Holke, the sophomore, and Adeline Voss, the sophomore as well. Here's Carson Went, a junior with it. Back over to Erickson. Dribbles into some double coverage. Finds a Holke at the top of the post, and her shot is also an air ball. So I think we're seeing both the teams still sort of adjusting to this game and adjusting to this gym with 3:33 to go here in the second quarter.
Well, and also everybody's nervous. I mean, this is the game to go to state, John. This is what your season has built up to. You lose and it's all over. Neither team wants that to happen, and the mental process has to be a big part of the air balls as well.
See some good shooting so far, some nice drives to the hoop, and I think we'll see the shooting only pick up from here. And you bring up a good point, Caden. Neither of these teams have played in a super sectional before. This is the biggest game of their lives. We'll get a foul on Alleman. Looks like that one's going to go on Carson Went. And that'll be Alleman's first of the third quarter. Overall, pretty good flow to this game, Caden. Not too many fouls. Both teams just getting up down the court pretty well. Maya Wardle inbounds to Lexi Bear on the far side. Back to Wardle on the wing. She thinks about driving baseline, but then kicks it over to Emmy Wardle at the top of the key behind the arc. Mingus behind the arc, drives in, shot fakes, kicks it to a wide open. That was Cora Hines into the game off the bench for P&D, but her shot was well short. Goes out of bounds off of an Irish and back to the green and black.
3:05 left here in the second quarter. Irish are putting the press on, but not really trying to attack, just making themselves known on the other side of the half.
Wardle gave it a swipe, tried to come away with it. That was Emmy Wardle. Alleman slowing things down. Wardle goes again for the steal, but can't quite grab it. Drive in, great defense there from Cora Hines as Wet came crashing to the floor. Maya Wardle, transition three, no good. Rebounded by Emmy Wardle. Shot fakes off the offensive board. That shot falls off. Grabs her own offensive miss. Mingus' three ball, also no good. 3 chances for P&D, and they can't get one to go.
We're seeing an Alleman crowd a little upset here. There was a little bit of a tussle there under the basket as this is pickpocketed, I think, by Mingus.
Loose ball at half court. We're going to get a tie-up. Not sure this is, it's like this is either going to, I'm not sure this is going to be a foul or a timeout. It wasn't a jump ball. Both teams are bringing the intensity. This one is really, really picking up. I don't believe a timeout was called. I believe a foul was called on Alleman, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, a foul.
Called on P&D,
Yeah,
I think.
It's Alleman basketball. A little bit of a wild sequence there. P&D almost comes away with a turnover, but Mingus will draw the call on the reach. And after some Alleman fans were upset, even though they drew a foul, there's some very vocal ones, let's say, over to our left. Another foul is called there on P&D. So again, they just are at number 2. P&D, though, forcing lots of loose balls. And they're going to get a hold away from the ball on the inbounds. That goes on Lexi Bear. All of a sudden, P&D starting to pick up some fouls here, and that's number 3.
Yeah, the Irish fans not happy about that one. I think we're starting to see fouls called, John, to try and get the two sides away from each other. Alleman has been a little upset about some of the no calls. P&D's been upset about some of the calls. I think nobody's really, I wouldn't say they're angry, but I think that the refs are just trying to get both sides to calm down and play a little bit cleaner.
It's an intense game right now. Nice drive on the right side from Audrey Erickson. And after a pair of fouls, Alleman gets up back by 6, under 2 minutes to go here. Here's a nice drive in from Bear. She's fouled by Ava Brinkman, and nothing against these Alleman fans. Kato, we have no rooting interest in this game, but that was about a foul as clear as day. I'm not sure what they were seeing there. They were a little upset by that one, but
yeah, Lexi Bear drove into the paint there, and it was all arm, no ball contact at all, and we saw an Alleman fan uproar. We're not trying to be biased at all, but as that one was a Lexi Bear miss. But some of these fouls, they're just upset that they're being called, I think, not upset that they're, I don't know, John.
It's been an intense game, and there have been some fouls. Obviously, there are going to be some in a super-sectional game. It's going to lead to a lot of intense feelings. It's been good action here, though, from Bureau Valley. Second free throw is good from Bear. She missed her first. So Bear will head to the bench with 2 fouls and probably sit the rest of the minute 47 before the half.
Bear shooting 2 for 4 from the line so far in this game. Those 2 free throws are only points so far tonight.
Then Cassidy with 4 for P&D, or no, Cassidy's got 5 for P&D. For Alleman, their leader is Claire Holke with 7. Shot up and good by her sister, Megan Holke, and Alleman keeps adding on to their advantage. It's 19-12, minute and a half to go here in the second quarter. Foul called there on the Pioneers. That'll even up the foul count at 3.
I think every time that whistle goes up, John, no matter if the call's on P&D or Alleman, we see about 30 arms in front of us just hit the air like they just don't care.
Miley Cyrus party in the USA. It's going to be a party in Manlius for one of these teams tonight. Sticklemeyer, a 3-ball for the top of the key is good. Big one there for the Irish. How about Sticklemeyer off the bench, knocking down a big shot.
Sticklemeyer comes off the bench and provides a lot of support for this P&D team, especially when somebody like Lexi Bear's got her second foul and needs a little breather.
Irish fans picking up the intensity in this gym adorned with tints of dark blue and light blue, the colors of Bureau Valley. It's steal by P&D. Here's Mingus with it, gives it over to Emmy Wardle. Back over to Mingus, finds Maya Whirl in the corner. Now goes to Cassie the post. Oh, what a spin move. Almost found an open shot. Turns around, no good. Batted away by Maya Whirl. Great offensive board. Emmy Wardle an open three. That one no good. Sticklemeyer bats into the hands of Maya Wardle. That one too strong. And thrown away by Erickson. Up the court, up to Claire Holke. And the bucket and a foul. What a stretch there from the Pioneers. They survive 3 shots from P&D, get the offensive board, and get the and one on the other end.
You know, that's the good and the bad part about those swats. P&D kept swatting at the ball to get it back on the rebounds. First 2 swats found one of their own in white. The third swat found a green, and Erickson was just able to find a striking Holke. And sadly, the foul came a little bit too late if you're a P&D fan, because that's going to make this an and one attempt, as Lexi Bear is now back on the floor with only 27 seconds left.
For an Alleman fan, you got to be feeling pretty good about this outcome, at least so far. The free throw is up and good from Claire Holke. She's been the star of the first quarter with Alleman. She's got 10 of their 22 points. 27.9 to go. We'll see if P&D holds for the last possession. Pioneers crowd chanting defense. P&D crowd watches on anxiously. Maya Whirl over to Bear. She dials up a 3 ball off to the right, and Alleman will get another chance to score here before the half. 10. Here's Erickson with it in the half court, driving in on Emmy Wardle. Her shot, she got fouled as she went up, and P&D, that's their 5th foul, but Erickson is shooting regardless. Pioneers been very, very aggressive in this first half. I think that's what you can boil down their lead to.
Definitely, John. They have not. They've definitely attacked the paint. I mean, almost all their baskets, if not all their baskets, have came down low. They definitely outsize, as that first shot goes in for Erickson, they definitely outsize the Irish down low, as Cassie's going to come out now, and we're going to have 4 of the 5 starters here for the last 5.8 seconds. Definitely an attempt here.
That free throw is good from Erickson. She goes 2 for 2. Still time for P&D. Maya Wardle up to Bear. She's got an open 3 and buries it. Huge shot from Lexi Bear. They put her back in with 2 fouls, and that's exactly why you do it. She can knock down the 3 ball and gives P&D a huge bucket heading into the half. Although it's the Alleman Pioneers, number 5 in Class 2A, holding a 6-point advantage over the top-ranked P&D Irish here at the halftime of a Class 2A Super-Sectional here in Bureau Valley.
Well, it was a great. Sorry, I was doing a little ad in there. Alleman had Claire Holke with 10, Audrey Erickson with 8, although Erickson was running up and down the court on offense and defense, making a lot of huge stops, a lot of big plays for the Pioneers. Then you saw Megan Holke with 4 and Adeline Voss with 2. The only scorers were all starters for Alleman. However, they had about 8 to 9 players all see the floor. It was just the starters who were getting those buckets. You look over at the P&D side, you had Caitlin Cassidy and Lexi Bear both with 5 after Bear's 1-second 3 ball there to go into halftime, as well as Maya Wardle and Allie Sticklemeyer with 3 and Julia Mingus with a layup for 2.
That's how it all breaks down in the first half. P&D a halftime deficit, but still 60 minutes left to play for Alleman. You got 60 minutes standing between you and a trip to normal this weekend. And again, obviously, Kay, we've seen P&D more often than we've seen Alleman this year. Obviously, that's being based in the Peoria area. But even if Alleman does hang on to win this game, hypothetically, it wouldn't be a huge shock. You got to credit the Pioneers. We knew they'd be a good team coming in. They've really been impressive in that first half, just being aggressive, getting down low with Erickson and Holke. Knocked down a couple 3 balls. I believe that was Megan Holke that had a 3 ball early on. But again, it really has been Claire Holke and Audrey Erickson driving the ship for the Pioneers. P&D will try to find an answer for them in the second half.
Yeah, the Pioneers, they played an aggressive 16 minutes. They were very relentless in the paint, especially. P&D was continuously trying to drive, get a bucket down low, and they kept getting denied. They were able to swat out a couple boards there at the end, but in the first quarter, all rebounds pretty much went Alleman's way off defensively. and Alleman was just a very aggressive force, both offensively and defensively in the paint. Alleman, sorry. I'm bad at pronouncing things.
Alleman, not Alleman, Alleman. But yeah, it's been a good first half here from Bureau Valley. Nice crowd on hand. It's hot up here in the booth, Kate. I'm wearing a polo and shorts, and I'm almost sweating up here. It's beautiful weather too outside. The first time, I believe, one of the maybe the only times I'll ever go to a super sectional game in shorts.
Yeah, you know, it's a first time for everything. But yeah, you know, I'm over here in a polo as well, and I'm definitely sweating a little bit.
I'm sure those players are as well, giving it all they got.
There's a lot of heat in this building, John.
There is, and it's only going to get hotter from here.
Yeah, two fully packed sides. That's just going to get it.
Certainly. Glad you're all with us on ClutchSportsIL.com for live audio coverage of the Super Sectional contest between the Irish and the Pioneers. Reason why we were audio only tonight is tonight's broadcast was also on the NFHS network, and those regulations that they and the IHSA have stipulate that if there's an NFHS network game, then there can be no other video broadcast. As maybe as weird or maybe even backwards as that sounds, it's the reality we have to deal with, but we're doing our best to give you the action here from Bureau Valley. Nice gym here, great facilities here in Manlius, at the hospitality room out there. Nice high school in our first trip here. It's a pretty sizable gym for a Class 2A school. Bureau Valley, obviously part of the Three Rivers Conference, which some schools in the Quad Cities area near where Alleman is in Rock Island play, such as Rockridge, Sherrard, Port Byron, Riverdale, Orion. You see some of the flags there on the side of the gym. But let's take a look at the other action going on around the state. Remember, we also have a live audio coverage of Illini, Bluffs, and Galena. Class 1A Super Sectional down at Brimfield, close to Peoria tonight. Illini Bluffs, number 6 team in Class 1A, hoping that they can make it to state as well. Again, that game is streaming live and for free audio coverage on ClutchSportsIL.com. You can take a look over at that one. We'll actually check in on that one and see where that one is right now as we pull that one up here on our YouTube channel. But
you know, as you pull that up, John,
sure.
One thing that that John did say there was he was going through the schools in the Three Rivers Conference, and one I don't know if you heard the name of was Sherrard.
Yes.
PND played Sherrard a few weeks back, and they were able to get the win to advance and be in the postseason hunt still today. When Rock Island Alleman played Sherrard, they defeated them as well, but only had a score of 49-33 versus the PND 66-33 defeat.
And yeah, and you know, you could do the transitive property there. I mean, obviously that's the easy way to think of it. You know, okay, well, Alleman beat them by 16, PND wins by 33, PND should win by 16. That's not always the case though in the playoffs. No. You have to bring it every single time. PND obviously knew that coming in. I'm sure if not, you know, they certainly learned it by now. They have a halftime deficit, but still lots of time for them to come back in this one. And if you're Alleman, I think, you know, just keep on keeping on, you know, as they say, you know, keep on bringing that pressure, get them down low again. You know, you deeper you get in the postseason at any level, you know, especially college and high school, you know, usually want to try and, you know, get in towards the paint because, you know, it's a long season. Your legs get tired. I mean, it's just a fact of the matter, you know. Even the season started back close to 4 months ago. You know, you've been playing basketball almost every day for 4 months. You know, your legs do get tired when you're shooting the ball and everything. Those high percentage looks, I think, are going to be a key in that second half. And if it's anything like the first half, I got to give the advantage to Alleman, but P&D has also been pounding the paint as well. Just haven't gotten those good looks to fall. I think it's only a matter of time before some of them do start to go their way.
Of course, and I talked to Coach Lane Lanehoff before the game, and the first thing I asked him was, how's everybody feeling? What's the energy like right now? Are you guys, you know, holding up? You know, there's some sickness. It's been a long season. It's tiring, and there's all that jazz. But he told me very simply, it's been too long since our last game. They have too much energy piled up right now. They just want to go up, and they just want to play. That's all these girls wanted to do entering the game. And, you know, maybe that high energy has resulted in that slow start of just a little bit of anxiousness. But they've battled back, and they've closed the deficit to only 6 now here as we are getting ready to start the third quarter.
I'd say this one may as well still be a coin flip. It'll really come down to these final 16 minutes. Quick score update from the other Super Sectional. The winner of this game will face the winner of this game we're about to give you in the state semifinals on Thursday in the early afternoon. Regina Dominican out of Wilmette leads Chicago Phillips 25-16 with 2:33 to go into the second quarter. So Regina Dominican holding an early lead, and as well our other local gaming for Peoria, Illini Bluffs leads Galena 18-16. So both number one teams in the class 1A and 2A AP polls, Galena in 1A, P&D in 2A, both facing deficits right now. We'll see what the rest of tonight brings, but it's just a great time for high school basketball here in Illinois. You got, boys sectionals Tuesday and Wednesday, girls state on Thursday, Friday and Saturday, boys sectionals on Friday, and next week we'll finish it out with boys state as well. So lots of area teams that we're looking for to make runs in the playoffs. I know someone posed the question to some of you guys in our Clutch Sports Media group earlier in the week. I know, maybe who's a team out of the Peoria area. Obviously, girls, we know who's making a deep run, either P&D or Illini Bluffs. We think a boys team got your eye on in the playoffs to make a deep run, Caden.
Well, from the Central Illinois area, it's hard not to say a team like Metamora, who are just so strong and are in it every season. I saw that Richwoods team play 2 weeks back, or not 2 weeks back, last week against East Peoria, and they dominated, but then they went out and only beat Morton by 3, and we know Morton is a very strong team, but I definitely thought Richwoods would have beaten Morton by a few more than 3.
That's a hot take. I think I knew that was going to be a close one. So, but obviously, just like you said, you saw Richwoods at East Peoria. They looked unbeatable in that one.
Right. That's what I'm saying is I've never seen Morton play. I saw Richwoods, and they looked unbeatable. So I thought, they're going to go in, play Morton, come out okay, and it was a very tight game. So my pick, if you asked me a week ago, would have been Richwoods. But now, it could be anybody, John.
Richards has a tough test against Kankakee on Wednesday. How about Peoria Notre Dame, though? They're fully healthy. They got Owen Dillon back. They got everybody else back. They won a regional title back on Friday against El Paso. Really can read about that. Katie, you wrote a story about it on Clutch Sports Media Overtime. You can see it on your screen there. Subscribe today, clutchsportsil.com/overtime for all sorts of playoff coverage. Also had a latest edition of John Dog's Notebook that I put out sometimes, and what we learned from regional games. And one thing, as I said, we learned is P&D, their boys team, is turning into what everybody thought they'd be, and that's a regional title winning team and a team that can make a deep run. It obviously dealt with some injuries, some adversity throughout the season, and they have really rebounded in a great way. So all the Irish fans that are listening to this one, then sure I'll be feeling good about the Irish. They play tomorrow against Rock Ridge at the Canton Sectional. There's a chance we may be in the building for that one. Stay tuned to our social media for updates for that one. But we're ready to go back in the third quarter. It's P&D basketball to start. Here's Emmy Wardle. With it, she drives in. Right-handed layup up and good. Quick score for the Irish. That's just what you want if you're Lane Langhoff.
Oh, definitely. A quick score is all what you need here, and that's Emmy Wardle's first bucket of the night.
24-20 here, 7:30 left to go in the third quarter. Alleman with it now. Here's Erickson, cross court, back over to Voss. She drives in, gets past Mingus, but can't finish the layup. Lexi Bear brings in the rebound. Emmy Wardle finds Mingus open in the corner. This one is short. Mingus has some nice looking shots off the hand, but just none of those threes have found the bottom of the net yet. Ball goes out of bounds and back to Alleman. P&D bringing the press. Mingus and Wardle will pressure Erickson and Voss.
Bear's now going to try and press the inbounder.
Not a super aggressive press, but like you said in the first half, Caden, just enough to let them know that they're there. Irish did force a couple of their trademark turnovers. That's how they've thrived much of this year. Here's a drive in by Alleman. Shot no good from Megan Holke. Rebounded by Cassidy. Quickly up to Emmy Wardle. She drives in, and her layup is good. How about 4 quick points for the freshman, Emmy Wardle, to spark P&D coming out of the locker room.
And that's an immediate timeout by Alleman.
P&D, we knew they wouldn't be done yet. And that will cause a timeout called by Steve Ford and the Pioneers sideline. They have 3 left. P&D has 4 left. Great way to start back if you're the Irish, Caden. You know, just get down low, and those have been 2 easy looks from Emmy Wardle, a player who didn't score in the first quarter. Still had an impact on the game, just didn't see one find the bottom of the net.
Yeah, you know, Emmy Wardle was running up and down, playing great defense, getting a lot of assists on the buckets that P&D did have. Even a couple rebounds that set up more attempts or just or makes for the Irish. Now she's proven herself and put her name on that score sheet as she will guard the inbounder here, and P&D's going to set up another press.
Irish trying to tie this ball game back up. Alleman's led for most of it, if not all of it. A turnover. Erickson lost it to half court. Here's Maya Wardle. Nice pass over to Mingus. Erickson slow getting up. A shot from Bayer is short. Rebounded by Emmy Wardle. Her shot, though, is no good, and rebounded by the 6'1 Brinkman. P&D getting lots of extra second chance points, and if it continues this way, Caden, that would really tilt the scales in their favor.
Oh, for sure, John. You saw the 2 Wardles come in and on the press get an easy pick, and Erickson was doing a little limping afterwards. She did not re-enter the play. She has the ball now, and she's looking a lot better, though.
Slow to get up, but she's back in. Here's a 3-ball from Holke. No good. Rebounded by Caitlin Cassidy. She tells Maya Wardle to go. Wardle can certainly do that. She's got lots of speed in those legs. Another 3 from Mingus. That one's good, and that one's for the lead.
Yeah, Julia Mingus left wide open on the arc there. That's not something that Alleman's going to want to do much more tonight.
Maybe, again, the silver lining in Mingus missing those 3s is Alleman thinks that maybe they can leave Mingus open, and anyone that's watched her knows that you cannot leave Julia Mingus open for 3. Pass into the post. Shot up and good. Nice layup there from Claire Holke. She's got a game-high 12. Alleman jumps back in front by 1. P&D comes right back as quick as you can blink. Shot there from guess who? It's Julia Mingus. She's up to 7. Now back and forth action.
Alleman tried driving in the paint. That didn't work, though.
3-ball on the way from Megan Holke. Too strong. Rebound again by Cassie. She's been a monster on the glass. Maya Emma up to Emmy Wardle. She drives in, double teamed, going baseline. Mingus, 3-ball to the corner. House would have came down, she would have made that one. Cassie gets the offensive board, and we're going to get a foul on Alleman. That one goes on Megan Holke. P&D has come out of the second half like they're shot out of a cannon.
I don't know what Lane Lanehoff said at halftime, but it fired them up, and it rounded them out. It cut the edges, and they're showing that they're P&D still.
They certainly are. It's very rare, if ever, that this Irish team doesn't look like their typical selves. They bring it every time, as does Alleman. Mingus driving in, some contact, no foul call there. Just a light little contact, nothing enough to warrant a foul. Pioneers bring it up with Adeline Voss, trailing by 1 during the halfway point of the third quarter. Pioneers now going right to left. Wearing their green uniforms with black numbers and black piping down the sides. The white stripe as well. Voss driving in, spins around and gets the layup to go. Pioneers back on top, 4:20 left.
Both sides of the gym there were doing chants with their feet off tempo. I mean, both these crowds are very much into it, as it is a very tight game.
Mingus triple teamed after driving baseline, kicks it back out to Bayer. Now Emmy Wardle kicks it over. Maya on the wing, 3-ball, bounces out. Rebound brought in by Mingus, keeps it in bounds, but again, she falls out in this near the same spot that she tried to save a ball back in the first quarter. And I don't know, it looks like maybe P&D may have called timeout. And they did get the timeout. I believe it should still be Irish possession. That near corner is tough to see where from our angle. But Lane Langhoff, nice awareness to call that timeout and keep possession, trailing now by 1.
Yeah, great play there. You know, this third quarter has all been Julia Mingus and Emmy Wardle. On offense and defense, both of them have just been electric, banking everything that they get, except for the times that they're triple team because they've been banking everything.
There have been some double and triple teams brought by the Pioneers. Every time that they've gone in the post, they force P&D in a lot of drive and kick offense, and the Irish can make their three balls, which they've shown us on many occasions they can do. And that could really jumpstart this offense, although if you miss them, you say live by the three, die by the three. Could go either way here in the final 11:57 of game time, or possibly more. Maybe overtime's in the cards. Cassidy, cross-court pass over to Bayer in the far corner. Her baseline floater is good. A tough look from Lexi Bayer, and she drained it.
Lexi Bayer, for those of you who weren't with us in the first half, drained a three with 1 second left on the clock in the second quarter, and that did kind of look to the, if you looked at the Irish bench after that shot, it looks like a different fire just had struck once Bayer switched that one.
Bayer is still playing with 3 fouls. Pioneers trying to feed the post, and no one was there, so bit of a miscommunication. Irish will look to keep on building. For Alleman, 2 players with 2 fouls include Carson Went and Claire Holke. Yeah, also, Emmy Wardle with 2 fouls for the Irish. Her younger sister Emmy has it. Cross court over to Mingus in the corner. Wardle on the wing. Mingus in the corner again for 3. And that one's way too strong. And we're going to get a push, I believe, on Lexi Bayer, and that would be her 4th. Ryan Julius, the assistant coach, grabbed Allie Stigmeyer off the bench immediately and says, get in the game. And that is on Bayer. That would be her 4th, and that would spell some trouble for the Irish. That's a big piece of them that's going to have to sit probably at least for the rest of this quarter.
Yeah, Lexi Bayer I don't think knows that the foul was called on her. She was a little surprised that she was getting pulled. I don't think she saw that push on her. As we get another foul.
That one is another one on P&D. We'll await this. This one's on Mingus, her 2nd. So now for P&D, Caden, you're going to have to really rely on Allie Stickelmeyer or Bridget Dooley to give you some really good minutes while Bayer is on the bench with 4 fouls. Alleman driving in. It's Voss. Her layup was just a bit too strong. Nearly went down. Bodies hit the deck. Just 2 players colliding there. No ill intent. Emmy Wardle with it. Back over to Stickelmeyer, who drained a big 3 in the first half. Cassie drives in and gets it to go. A Pioneer fell down. No foul called, and look at that. Irish lead by 3. Cassidy is...
And Mingus gets a steal.
Mingus has played out of her mind in this third quarter. Here's Wardle, kicks it over. 3 ball on the way. Rims out from Cassidy and rebounded by the Pioneers. It's Erickson donning some pink shoes. Pioneers can tie it up with a 3 ball, but this one has all the feelings that this one may come down in the final possession. Don't go anywhere, folks. Tell your friends, tell your family to get to CSM. 3 ball from Voss, no good. And Cassidy again with the board. She's probably nearing double-double territory in both points and rebounds. She's got 7 points tonight and probably just as many rebounds. She's got it now. Over to Emmy Wardle. She's behind the arc. Maya Wardle for 3 on the wing is no good. A Pioneer hit the deck and is in some pain. Alleman fans are livid, wanting a foul. Looks like that was Abigail Glacken who hit the deck pretty hard. She's up on her own feet now. Ava Brinkman and Megan Holke check in for the Pioneers, but there's been some calls that some have liked and some that others have not liked tonight. We'll just leave it at that.
And I think every time a player hits the floor, those fans all rise to their feet with their arms in the air like they just don't care. I'm going to use that one a second time tonight, John, if that's all right with you.
Go right ahead. We're waving our arms in the air, but it's because we're having a little party. We're having some fun. Here's Maya Wardle, and 1. Irish get a steal in transition. They found Emmy Wardle on the baseline. She finishes, and P&D leads by 5. It could be 6. What a stretch from the Irish, who trailed 24-18 at the half. They've outscored Alleman 15-4 so far in this third quarter.
Maya Wardle being the coach's daughter that she is, talking to all of her players before she takes the shot.
Her free throw is good. P&D's lead is 6. This is a huge stretch for the Irish in their hopes to get to state for the first time in program history. Voss brings it up. P&D crowd chants defense. They stomp their feet. Students are on their feet. They're wearing all white. Allemans are in all green. And the Pioneers throw it away out of bounds. This is what we've been accustomed to seeing for P&D. They just kick it into gear in the second half and really frustrate opposing teams. There's another timeout called by Steve Ford and the Pioneers.
I think that timeout was initiated by Erickson. She ran over to Coach Steve Ford with the timeout signal from her hand. Erickson, definitely the senior veteran leader on the floor, wanting to calm her girls down, or her teammates down, I should say, because she's not the coach. Before we get any further, though, that last play where the ball went out of bounds, that was Ava Brinkman, the senior, the only starter for the Pioneers to not score a point yet. Ball went right under her hands on the pass and just rolled right out of bounds, looking a little the Pioneers have looked a little flustered here in the last couple minutes.
They have a little bit, and you credit that to P&D's defensive pressure, and also I think the crowd has something to do with it as well. I mean, they've been forcing some good defense, and anytime that P&D brings in a board or even gets a steal, they're roaring like that's got to feel. Can't imagine the adrenaline of all these players on the floor right now. I mean, playing in the biggest game of their lives in front of hundreds, if not over 1,000 here. I think we probably have well over 1,000 here in the crowd, and I'm sure many more tuning in from home on ClutchSportsIL.com. This one is shaping up to be what we expect it to be, and that is a hard-fought battle between both teams. If you're Alleman, Caden, what do you do coming out of this timeout? What do you think that Steve Ford was talking about?
Well, they got to get a turnover here. They can't let another score come from the Irish with 1:17 left. They want the ball. They want to get a nice defensive stop here and then get the ball and score, kind of change the momentum before going into the fourth quarter.
P&D has turned a 6-point deficit into a 6-point lead. Maya Wardle kicks out to Emmy Wardle. She drives in. Kicks it out, Cassie, thought about a three, but pulled it back. Now finds Sicklemeyer. Her corner three ball is off to the left and brought in by Megan Holke. Chance for the Pioneers to seize some of that momentum you talked about back, Caden. See if they try and go down low. They've been shooting some more jump shots here in this third quarter. Sicklemeyer and Cassie bring some pressure, now retreat. They feed Holke in the post. She drew some contact from Cassidy and will be headed to the line. Good awareness there from Holke. Saw that Cassidy was right there in her vicinity and sort of almost altered her path to try and draw that foul. That's Cassidy's second and P&D's fourth.
First shot was a miss there from Claire Holke. We'll see what she does with her second. Holke has 12 points in the game so far, leading scorer for the Pioneers.
She's got 12, and both free throws rim out. Points left at the line there from Alleman. 33 seconds to go. Here's Maya Wardle. And I'm sure that she was probably talking to the team during halftime as well. Mingus's three is off the mark. Rebounded by Brinkman. Now with 14. Pioneers have it on the wing. Here's Voss. Back over to Brinkman. Ball is tipped out of bounds. It will stay with Alleman. 9.3 seconds to go.
Maya Wardle was the last one to touch that as she had a nice tip there. And again, immediately telling everybody what to do on the floor.
If Maya Wardle was one of the Incredibles, there's a couple that she could be. I think one of them would be whichever one had the super stretchy arms. Or seems like she gets hands on everything as if she is a wingspan that's much more than that outweighs her height. Here's Brinkman with 6. Alleman needs to get a shot going. On the drive is Voss. Finding Holke, she got fouled with 1.8 to go. Bridget Dooley is beside herself and can't believe it. But Alleman will get a chance to add 2 more with under 2 ticks to go. And that's good for the Pioneers, Caden, because just like at the end of the second or at the end of the second quarter, had that 3-ball from Bear that gave P&D some momentum. Now Alleman gets some 2 free throws and potentially cut it back to 4 headed into the final frame.
Yeah, that was Dooley's first foul. As you see both Wardle sisters talking with Coach Lane Lanehoff. First one goes down as Cassidy comes back into this game.
Holke's got 13. P&D still has a chance if they can maybe get a shot at the horn to go. I'd expect Maya Wardle would be the one to shoot it. She's got some range. Second free throw is off the mark. Cassidy brings in the miss. Wardle does get one up. It looks really good. Oh my word. I'm not sure if she got it off in time, but that one just hit the back iron. It was right on line. But that's where we'll leave the third quarter. P&D turns a 24-18 deficit into a 34-29 lead.
You know, we didn't know what the third quarter would bring. We can't see the future, John, but we definitely knew that P&D was not out of this game by any means. Now we see, if you're an Alleman fan, you might not have expected to be entering the fourth quarter trailing, but that's the state that they're in.
And Alleman coming in this game, you know, I mean, obviously people on P&D would probably think that, you know, Irish were probably still heavily favored. They've been still against very good teams in the playoffs. I mean, again, they beat DMAC, a state-ranked team in Class 2A, by over 20 points. So it's, you know, hard if you're following the Irish to not think, okay, well, they'd, you know, win this one still. It doesn't matter who they play, but, you know, you have to respect your opponent every single way. The playoffs in Alleman is really giving them a good fight. One of probably the best and closest games Irish have had since they played number 1 and still undefeated Lincoln back in January, back at Renaissance Coliseum.
Yep, the number 3 seeded Lincoln. Nobody has toppled them yet. I talked to Lane Lanehoff before the game, and he just told me straight up that this should be a tough challenge for his girls, and he doesn't expect it to be anything but a close game that anyone could win.
Score update from Brimfield. Illini Bluffs on the verge of going to state. They lead 39-28 with under 4 minutes left to play. How about the Tigers?
I wrote
See if they can hold on.
Yeah, I wrote a nice feature about them on CSM Overtime that you can check out.
Yeah, certainly. It's called Eye of the Tigers, how Illini Bluffs has built 2 state contending basketball teams. He wrote that back in January, and what do you know? We're here in late February, and their girls on the verge of going to state. Their boys looking to make it to state as well. What an accomplishment that would be. P&D, though, their girls team looking to make it to state for the first time in school history. Alleman looking for their first trip since 2005. They have the ball here. On the drive is Voss. Brinkman had it stripped away from her. That would be a reach-in call. It looks like on Emmy Wardle. Hands over her head. That's her second foul. And that was in the act of shooting, they'll say. So Alleman will get 2 free throws.
And that one was a
kind of a bang-bang play there. Tough to see if she was in the act of shooting or not. First free throw is no good from Brinkman. She's got an over-the-head delivery with her free throws. You don't see that every day.
No, it looks like she's trying to, like, hurl the ball and, like, throw it across the court. Like, you know, like that motion. I'm not saying she's, like, with her free throw.
Brinkman still looking for her first point today, but she's been big on the glass. A 6'1" senior. Her second one is good. That gets Alleman to 30. They trail by 2 scores. Here is now, let's see what P&D does in their first possession of the fourth quarter. In case you haven't already, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone you know to get to CSM now. Tune in for the final 8 minutes of this one. Here's Maya Wardle over to Julia Mingus. Back over to Emmy Wardle in the corner. Bear. Irish moving the ball well. They load 4 players on one side, Mingus on the other side. They cross-court pass to her. She drives in. Gets her own layup, or gets her own rebound off the miss. Her second try, she got fouled, and she'll head to the line for 2 shots.
Mingus with 4 points in the first half, 5 here in the second. All those in the third, all 5 in the third quarter, as she's going to head to the line. That's 4th foul. That first free throw is good for Mingus. That's the 4th foul for Megan Holke, so it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Steve Ford handles her the rest of the game.
Glad you pointed that out, Kaden. Megan Holke with 4, Lexi Bear with 4. Mingus' second free throw is good. That gives the Irish a little bit of a cushion as Mingus is now up to 9 points. 7 of those have come in the second half. On the drive, here's Voss. Now it's Claire Holke in the corner. She goes back to the top of the key, tells Erickson to go on down. There's a defense chance again. You may hear them. Here's Claire Holke at the drive and finishes with the left hand. She's got 15.
Quick transition here for PND. Then they back off a little bit. Emmy Wardle being the conductor, trying to get everyone into place for the show.
Turnover by PND. Cassidy tried to thread the needle and couldn't. 3-on-2 break. Voss driving in on Bear. Turns around and shoots. It's good. Here comes Allemania. Adeline Voss, a big layup. And Alleman's cut it now down to 2 after the steal and score. Emmy Wardle wide open for 3, and she made him pay. Pioneers sort of slacked off there, and Emmy said, I'm going to just shoot that one, and drained it.
We're having some back and forth just exchanges of points here between the two sides.
Very balanced scoring. There's a takeaway by Emmy Wardle. She jump stops. Easy layup from the left block. There's 5 straight points from the freshman. Boy, has she come out big in the second half. She's got 9. Very balanced scoring from P&D, Caden.
Yeah, all 9 of Emmy Wardle's points have come in this second half. As you look, you have 9 from both Emmy and Julia Mingus. You see 9 also from Maya Wardle. I'm sorry, only 6 from Maya Wardle, my bad.
Foul goes on Julia Mingus, her third, and Wardle's a player. We saw her score 26 against DMAC in the sectional title game. We're more accustomed to seeing her as more of a distributor like she has been tonight, but she can really turn up the scoring if she needs to. See what she does down the stretch, but she can do it all. She's headed to Eastern Kentucky next year, hoping to extend her high school career by 2 more games. If you win tonight, you are guaranteed at least 2 games because there's also the third place game if you do lose, but that's not even remotely in the minds of either the Irish or the Pioneers. Voss drives in, kicks it over. Now here's Holke driving in, trying to draw the foul on Mingus. It goes on a bounce off of the Pioneers. Great defense from Julia Mingus to defend and not foul.
It was a great play there as the Wardle sisters are going to pass it back and forth in the backcourt. A little bit of a very loud Alleman student section there after that one.
They have brought the energy tonight. Props to them. 3 ball on the way from Emmy Wardle is good! Nothing but net from the freshman, and she's taken over in the second half. What a time, what a moment for the freshman. Her father, Brian Wardle, the Bradley head coach at Crossway, loves it. He's giving fist bumps and high-fiving fans all around. P&D leads by 10 here midway through the fourth quarter.
Timeout called there by Steve Ford, trying to slow this process down as quickly as he can now. A 10-point lead for the Irish is their biggest of the night, which if you're just tuning in, folks, and you're a fan of P&D, hearing that their 10-point lead is the biggest of the night will come as a big shock to you.
And many of P&D's games, even games that have been close at times, have eventually turned into running clock wins in the second half. Alleman has kept it close in this one, and they're still very much in it, but things trending not in the direction they want to right now here with their season on the line midway through the fourth quarter. Darude Sandstorm plays over the speakers in here, and this place is going to be jumping coming out of the timeout. Again, Irish looking for their first ever trip to state, Caden, and this year I think both teams can probably feel like this is the year of destiny for them. They feel like they've been destined for state, but only one of them will advance, so we'll see what the final 4.5 minutes bring.
I mean, a 4 loss, all 4 coming from in-conference opponents, the first undefeated run on the other side in conference, only 4 losses for both these clubs. It's been incredible seasons. It's very sad that one of the programs has to end tonight. However, both of them have earned a spot here, and both of them have earned to move on past tonight. Sad enough, one of them only will.
2 fantastic programs going at it in front of a great environment here in Manlius. Here's Voss driving right, tries to go in on Emmy Wardle. She drives in. Great defense again from P&D. They altered the shot without fouling. And we're going to get a travel by Maya Wardle. Looks like she understood that she did, just kind of hopped with it there. So they'll give it back to the Pioneers after the Irish had some more good defense. They have really made it tough on Alleman driving into the paint. And we're going to get a foul there on Mingus from behind. That's her fourth. Lexi Bear on the court also with 4 fouls right now. If you're Layne Langhoff, maybe sort of walking a little bit of a thin line right now with 2 of your impact players on the verge of fouling out.
Yeah, besides Emmy Wardle, your next 2 top scorers both sitting at 4 fouls.
Sticklemeyer's ready to check into the next dead ball for PND. See if the Irish can come up with another stop. Alleman really wants the bucket right now.
It'll be interesting to
Here's
see.
Megan Holke, nearly an over and back. Back over to Erickson. Now it's Voss in the corner. She finds Holke in the paint, guarded by Bear. She has to play non-aggressive defense. Holke gets her offensive miss and puts it back in. Huge bucket there, and I think she was able to get that one to go because Bear could not foul there.
Yeah, their arms were interlocked for a second, and what I was trying to say, John, is it's going to be interesting to see who Sticklemeyer is going to come in for, Mingus or Bear, both with 4 fouls. Only one person, though, going to come into the game.
Emmy Wardle on the drive finds a wide open Cassidy who can't quite finish while crashing to the deck. That one seemed all but guaranteed. 3-on-3 break. Erickson speeds in with the right hand. It's good. Alleman's cut it to 6 with a shade over 3 minutes to play. Here we go.
If you're an Alleman fan, you'd be surprised to hear that that was the first bucket for Erickson here in the second half.
Emmy Wardle finds Bear in the post. Her shot hits the side of the backboard. Kicks it out to Mingus. Thought about a 3, but will slow things down. Irish holding a 6-point lead, and no need to rush right now. Again, no shot clock. They're not going to hold it. Cassidy open for 3, but decides to pull it around. And now I think P&D might try and play a little keep away here and not run this one all the way down, but try and chew some of it off, I think.
Well, they don't want to force anything, John. They'd rather take the open shot than force a close one.
Emmy Wardle is double teamed in some trouble. Layne Langhoff smartly calls timeout. He has 3 of them left. So they'll be down to 2 after that. Emmy Wardle was double teamed and looked like it was only maybe a couple seconds before she may have turned that one over. But boy, has she been so big for the Irish in the second half. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, can have all of her 12 come in the second half? I believe it's.
Yes, it has.
Wow.
Yeah, she's
How about the
definitely
freshman?
lit it up for the second half. And as I made a comment, Audrey Erickson, she had 8 in the first half. That was her first bucket here in the second half of this one.
Pioneers have been a little bit more quiet on offense this time. Again, they led 24-18 going into the halftime break. It's been 26-14 in the Irish's favor in the second half here, and it started right away with 2 buckets from Emmy Wardle, that 3-pointer, and also a layup to start the second half as well. And stay tuned down the stretch. We'll give you as many updates as we can from Regina Dominican and Chicago Phillips. Winner of this one will play the winner of that game in the state semifinals at Seth Q Arena in Normal on Thursday.
Fans on both sides getting up on their feet, cheering. I mean, we've seen that all night, but especially now as we are 2 minutes and a little bit of change left. Big pass there, high in the air.
Nearly taken away by Alleman. Here's
Nearly
Cassidy with it, and she's fouled from behind by Erickson, who then the Cassidy kind of hooked around her, but did not.
Nearly hit the rafters here, John. And that's not it's not a small ceiling.
No, it's certainly not. Interesting pass there. There's Erickson's second foul. She's got 10 points tonight. Again, just a second team foul on Alleman, so P&D not in the bonus yet. Illini Bluffs, it's a little bit closer, but they're less than a minute away from state. They lead 43-37. Another foul on Alleman that goes on Erickson, and I wonder, maybe here if you're the Pioneers, you figure that P&D wants to run clock. Do you just keep on fouling and maybe try and start playing the foul game a little bit? Not sure if that's their approach, but they did pick up 2 quick ones.
Well, they just took out their one player with 4 fouls, Megan Halke. So you could be right, John.
And a takeaway by the Pioneers. Erickson came away with it. 1-on-3 break. Holke in transition. Too much steam, though. Couldn't come away with it. We'll get a jump ball, or a foul, rather, on Holke. Pioneers had a great chance there, but Holke just maybe could have used a jump stop there because came in with a little bit too much momentum and didn't make the layup. That foul goes on Claire Holke. That is her third. She's got Alleman's high with 17 points tonight. Regina Dominican leading 34-23 over Phillips after 3 quarters. Here's Cassidy, finds an open Maya Wardle. And it looks like we'll get a foul there on the Pioneers. That goes on Abigail Glacken, the senior, who's back into the game after taking a tough fall earlier. That's the 5th foul on Alleman, so I think that was their plan to start putting P&D to the line.
Yeah, especially as their player with 4 fouls, Megan Holke, is ready to get checked right back into this game for the offensive drive. Got to follow these 2 shots from Cassidy.
Cassidy didn't make her first off the attachment. She'll get a second. This is where not having a shot clock comes into play. If there is a shot clock, then you're probably not fouling at this point of the game, but Cassidy makes her second. That'll make it a 7-point game, 1:54 to go. Trip to state on the line, and Emmy Wardle has come up huge for the Irish here in a small second half comeback. Irish bring their press.
Yeah, they brought Stickelmeyer out onto the court to replace Julia Mingus. Julia Mingus has 4 fouls, excuse me. So
Mingus and Bayer both on the court with 4. Here's Erickson, knifing into the lane, swatted away by Cassidy. She's been huge with her defense in the paint. She smiles with Lexi Bayer, knowing what she just did. Massive play from Caitlin Cassidy, who just does it all for P&D. And her efforts on the glass and also just in the paint and defense in general have been so big.
They have been, John. As we're going to see Lexi Bayer shoot some free throws here. She is currently at 7 tonight. Make that 8 as she drains the first. Emotions running high here in Bureau Valley. Is Bayer looking to go 2 for 2 here.
Her first one was good. She's done a nice job keeping herself in the game with those 4 fouls. Her second one also falls likewise. Alleman needs a bucket, trailing by 9. One of the biggest leads of the night so far for the Irish. Here's Erickson, thought about a 3 near the Storm logo. She'll dial it up. High arcing shot is no good, but it goes off of Bayer and out of bounds. So Alleman will see a second chance. Shot looked good there from Erickson. I had to wonder if that was going to be a raindrop 3, or a teardrop 3, I should say, a rainmaker. Got those 2 terms mixed up. Erickson out to Holke, now back to Megan Holke. Here's a 3 ball on the way from Voss. It's too strong. And Emmy Wardle brings in the miss, and she's fouled quickly. Alleman is starting to maybe start to run out of chances, Caden.
Yeah, I mean, they got to start. Alleman, in order to keep this one close, needs to start scoring on these opportunities. You can foul as many times as you want, but P&D's going to take those opportunities on the line and do their best to capitalize. And if P&D just keeps scoring and keep making this a wider deficit, a bigger deficit as Emmy Wardle makes the first, then you're not going to be able to do much as Mingus checks back into the game. The Pioneers need to come up with a score here if they want to keep this one in check.
First one was good from Emmy Wardle. She stands to be the hero of this game. The second one is no good, rims out. And it looks like we'll get a foul on the Irish, if I'm not mistaken.
And that'll go on Julia Mingus. That's her 5th foul, so we will not see Julia Mingus on the floor the rest of the night.
Great night from Mingus. Again, shots didn't always fall for her, but she put together a nice game, made some big shots when they needed to.
Yep, 9 points for her on the evening. As Erickson trying to find somebody to inbound.
She's got Claire Holke. She'll shoot a 3, too strong off the glass. Bayer at 6'1" brings in the miss, and she's also fouled.
Lexi Bayer smiling a little bit there. It was a little bit physical.
They can taste it. They can taste it. This wouldn't be P&D's first trip to state per se. They qualified in 1994 back under the two-class system. That's back when it was just Class A and Class AA. This would be their first trip to state since 1994 and the first in the modern four-class system era. Bears' first free throw is good, and with every point, with every rebound and free throw that P&D takes, Caden, their chances of toppling the top-ranked Irish are waning. Bears sets for her second, and it's nothing but net. P&D has reached 50. They lead by 12, 1:13 to go. Erickson knows that they need to score quick, drives into the lane, kicks it out. Here's Claire Holke over to Voss. Alleman needs to get something up. A hurried three is off the mark, brought in by the Irish. And it's Cassidy up to Sicklemeyer. Fast break layup, and she'll lay it in off the glass. That might be your dagger as Sicklemeyer has put P&D up by 14.
Three ball there.
Is also no good. It's still Alleman ball, but
a little bit too hard on that iron.
P&D just put them in some tough positions. They had to foul. P&D made their free throws, and it made the Pioneers rush some three-pointers, but really what else can you do if you're Alleman right now? Three ball on the way from Claire Holke is no good. Rebound offensively there by Audrey Erickson. She got hacked, and she'll shoot two. But it seems like the Irish have done enough. Caden, barring the unforeseen, foul goes on Cassidy, her third.
Would be a comeback of a century at this point.
Illini Bluffs, winners over Galena. The Tigers are going to state in Class 1A. P&D will try and make it 2 for 2 in Peoria area teams heading down to Normal. They've won every game since the calendar is flipped except for that loss to Lincoln. Second free throw is no good from Erickson. And another quick foul from the Pioneers, but they would have to rely on lots of misses from the line and lots of turnovers for the P&D Irish. P&D fans starting to feel this one with 34.3 to go.
And Maya Wardle's not the one you want to send to the line if you're hoping for misses.
No, you're certainly not. Brad Bickett, the athletic director at Bureau Valley, standing in the corner in front of the P&D student section with the regional title plaque. Irish are so close to hoisting it. Right, I said regional, yeah. A super-sectional plaque.
Super-sectional. And it looks like Steve Ford of the Pioneers has brought all the seniors to the floor now.
It's like he knows that this will be their last ride, and Maya Wardle checks out, gives a huge hug to the P&D coaching staff. A huge smile on the senior's face, knowing that her career is extended by 2 games, and the Irish are right there. Sicklemeyer pushed down a Pioneer that will send Alleman to the line, but should be too little too late.
Yeah, a lot of hugging and celebrating on the Irish bench. Maya Wardle over there with Bridget Dooley. Immediately when she came off, she gave a big bear hug to Coach Lane Lanehoff. Student section of P&D jumping and getting very happy over there. And John, for good reason.
First free throw is no good from Alleman. You can just see it, even though they're sitting across the way from us, you can see it in their eyes. They are just ready to explode right now when that buzzer hits 0. Second free throw is on the way and too strong. Amy Wardle corrals the miss, and I guess we're still fouling. That one on Adeline Voss will send Amy Wardle to the line. So the final score may not indicate how close this game was. Caden, Alleman was right in it. I think, they got it down to 4 here in this fourth quarter after I believe it was a bucket from Erickson. But after that, it was just all P&D.
Well, and they were leading by 6 going into halftime. It has to be, we have to only wonder what Lane Lanehoff said, but it definitely lit a fire as Emmy Wardle makes the first under his team, as we're going to see a full 5 new players for the Pioneers. Lots of hugging and crying as the starters and seniors leave the floor. And now the Irish are going to do a full 5 transition as well, besides Emmy Wardle as she's on the line.
Line changes for both teams. The starters are out. And both to rousing rounds of applauses from both sides.
Everyone in this stadium is currently on their feet and cheering, John.
Really, again, what we've seen tonight, Kane, has been nothing less than what you can ask. That's both teams just giving it their all, and we really saw Alleman fight as much as they can to really, really make things tough on P&D and make them work for it. They didn't let the Irish just come in and just steamroll them like they've done with so many opponents this year. Lots of good things to look forward to for the Pioneers out of the Western Big Six Conference. Shot is off the mark there from Lindsey Britton as we'll get a tie-up. And possession arrow favors P&D. And we'll get a late substitution here for the Irish as Shay Larson, the freshman, into the game, along with Ellie Bear, Abigail Chaddock, Aiden Maloney, and another Irish who we can't see right now. But that is it. P&D is going to state for the first time since 1994. 55-39, they win over the Rock Island Alleman Pioneers. What a team, what a season for the Irish, and they are not done yet.
No, they are not, John. This has been an incredible game, start to finish. Some great basketball from everyone on the floor. Some great energy in this building tonight from both fans. And sadly, one season has to come to an end, but the P&D faithful will get to see 2 more as they are about to be represented the Super-Sectional trophy.
How about that? In the biggest game of their life, down 6 at the half, the Irish storm back in the home of the Storm in Bureau Valley, and they are headed to state. This is a team that knew they could do it. They didn't want to think about it too much. They just kept working and working and working, putting their heads down and working all season long. And they are going to state and will have a chance for a state championship as they are presented the plaque. It's Bridget Dooley and Maya Worrell lifting it up as they jump around. A little bit of almost a subdued celebration, Kaden. It seems like almost like they know what they did. They're very happy about it, but they know that there's still business to take care of down in Normal this weekend.
And it's also hard to do it in front of the team you just beat, because you know how hard they fought as the student section.
There's
of
the mob.
P&D mobs them with the cheerleaders. Lots of crying faces over in the Pioneer side. They fought very hard today, John, and they had an incredible season.
They certainly did, and hats off to great careers from Audrey Erickson. She finishes tonight's game with 12 points. Abigail Glacken as well. Ava Brinkman, Claire Holke, again, playing in her final high school game as well. Put the team on her back with 17 points, was so big in that first half for the Pioneers, as well as Kate Mahachko as well for the Pioneers. Their seniors, their career is over. Their run is over at 30-5, but how about the job that Steve Ford has done with Alleman, being state ranked for most of the season, hanging around the top 10, and there's lots to look forward to and lots of energy that Alleman can garner from this girls basketball team.
No, of course. I mean, they had Adeline Voss, who scored 6 tonight. She's a sophomore. They had Megan Holke, younger sister, score 4. Not as big of totals as the 11 and the 17 you saw from the 2 seniors, but some incredible play just because the point total doesn't show it, and some people that you can build around.
Certainly, as again, that's 2 Peoria teams that make it to state. Illini plus beats Goleta, but here in Bureau Valley, it is P&D over Alleman. Make your plans for Thursday, Irish fans. You're headed down to Normal as the Irish dance around with their plaque. We'll take a look see if we can find a winner between Regina Dominican and Chicago Phillips. One of those teams will face P&D tonight. It was Regina Dominican leading at the end of the third quarter.
One of the nets has been cut down, and they are now moving over to cut the second one for the Irish as the girls continue to celebrate on the floor and the band of host Bureau Valley starts to play.
Regina Dominican, Regina Dominican leads with 36 seconds left. They lead 49-40. That was as of 34 seconds ago, according to Twitter. Thanks to Virginia Dominican Athletics for the update. So it looks like the state semifinal is set. It'll be P&D versus Regina Dominican out of Wilmette for a state semifinal on Thursday. The other Class 2A Super Sectionals included Central Southeastern versus Nashville. We'll try and get score updates from those games here before we leave the air. Glad you're all stuck with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com tonight with our free live audio coverage of this 2A Super Sectional. And Caden will be down at state for P&D. We'll have some sort of coverage planned for the weekend with P&D and Illini Bluffs as well, but I think you can probably look forward to hopefully some more audio broadcasts, some photography. We'll have all the pictures and videos, social media posts from that game, as well as some reporters down there as well. So we will have the Irish covered all the way through their season. It's Nashville over Central Southeastern 41-32. Robinson beats Peotone 45-36. So there's your 4 state finalists. P&D against Virginia Dominican, Robinson versus Nashville. Caden, I'm really looking forward to what we're going to see this weekend.
I think it's going to be a great performance. Hopefully some more nets to be cut down, as looks like both Wardle, no, that's Cassidy. Cassidy earned 1, and currently Maya Wardle has the other. The plaque is in the hands of P&D's assistant coach, and just a lot of celebration right now on the floor. You know, it's been an incredible run for Peoria Notre Dame. They set their goals, and they have not only met, but they've exceeded them. They had the goal to win to go undefeated and win conference for the first time ever. They did that. They had a goal to win regionals. They accomplished that. Now, I guess the goal is just to go all the way and win state, John.
That is the goal. They've taken it one at a time, but they have completed every single mark of their checklist. They won the Big 12. They won a regional, they won a sectional, they won super sectionals. This is truly a magical season for the Irish, and unfortunately for the Pioneers, their magical season comes to an end tonight here in Manlius. That will about do it for all of our crew here at CSM. Bio Savoy was taking pictures and providing social media updates on Twitter. And we'll have hopefully a story coming out, and also maybe some pictures from this game on our social media feeds. Follow us at Clutch Sports Media on Facebook and Instagram, at Clutch Sports IL on Twitter. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all the latest news about where we're going to be the rest of the week. We have lots of playoff plans coming up that we're excited to share with you shortly. So stay tuned to ClutchSportsIL.com the rest of the way. For our broadcast partner, Caden Sexton, I'm Jonathan Michael saying so long and good night from Bureau Valley. P&D is your Super Sectional champions. They have punched their ticket to normal for the first time since 1994. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday night. We'll talk to you soon on Clutch Sports Media.